What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here today, and today we're bringing you our Florida State preview prediction video. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. Check out the description where you can find links to our podcast website, Patreon page. Also, you can find our College Football Roundup channel there. I'll leave a card for it right here. You can also find ways to support the channel. You can also find some merch that'll be down at the bottom. Also, you guys can check out the link to join our channel and get exclusive perks on the channel. We appreciate all of our channel members if you decide to do that. But let's go ahead and jump in with today's video. So Florida State last year, 11-2, 6-2 in the ACC. Only two losses came to Wake Forest at home. They lost 31-21. And to Clemson at home, they lost 34-28. Made a little bit of a comeback in that game in the fourth quarter. It was kind of getting away from them. They scored a few times in the fourth, made that one a little bit close. But they returned 8 starters on offense. They returned 8 starters on defense. They bring back probably the best defensive end in the country in Jared Verse. They bring back one of the best running back quarterback duos in Jordan Travis and Trey Benson. They get a huge transfer in Jaheim Bell and one of the biggest deep threat receivers in the country in Johnny Wilson as well. And they bring back four players off that offensive line. Also returned wide receiver Micah Pittman. Johnny Wilson last year, 43 catches, 897 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's their returning leading receiver. Trey Benson, the returning leading running back, with 154 carries, 990 yards, 9 touchdowns last year. And the quarterback Jordan Travis, returning last year, went 226 of 353 for 3,214 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And he's just progressively been getting better. The dude just makes plays. Now he's got to stay healthy. He likes to run a lot, and that can lead to injuries at the quarterback position. He's got to stay healthy, but he is, he's definitely a good breakout candidate. Norvell finally, looking like he's got this team headed in the right track. They're giving him some time, more than a lot of some of the previous coaches before him have gotten. So they're sticking with him, giving him some time, and so I think that's turned out to be a good move for Florida State as he's headed into his 4th year. He's 18-16 overall at the school. But when you look at where they were whenever he came in and got them, they were a 5-7, 4-8 team. Like a good year would be considered making a bowl game. And now and Athlon projects them to be the ACC champions this year and finished number 7 in the country. So when Norvell got there, they were a bowl game was considered a good year, and now he's got them projected to be a top 10 team. So, that right there is just huge and incredible how he's really turned that team around. But let's go ahead and jump into the schedule part of today's video. So, Week 1, they start out with probably what was the best regular season game last year. We get another run at that as Florida State and LSU battled it out, and Florida State ended up winning 24-23. But I think they do lose this year. I think LSU's in a little bit of a better spot under Brian Kelly than year 1. And like last year, that was year 1 with a new coach, new quarterback, and first game of the season for them. And now, you're in year 2, same quarterback, new system. And LSU got progressively better throughout the season. They just got better and better and better. So we'll see what LSU does and how this game goes. I think it's going to be another great one, but I do have Florida State getting the win. Next game, Southern Miss. I think this game is a win. This game doesn't really need much discussion. Florida State obviously much better than Southern Miss. So nice bounce back there. Moving on the road at Boston College, I have this game as a win. I think Boston College is going to be a bottom 3 or 4 team in the ACC this year. Not in a very good spot. Florida State, you just look at this game on paper, you can tell Florida State is much better than Boston College. Then they go on the road to Clemson. This is going to be the big one. I have them losing this game, although this is a game I could very easily see them win. I think these two teams are pretty even for the most part. And then so the reason I went with Clemson in this game is it is at Clemson. That's what led me to pick them in this game. Is it's at Clemson. I think these two teams are going to play twice this season. Regardless of who wins the first one, I think they'll rematch in the ACC championship now that the ACC's gone away with divisions. So it'll be interesting to watch. I think this is going to be a tough, hard-fought game. A little bit closer than it was last year. Again, I know the score was 34-28 last year, but Clemson won that game by more than the score. I think they were up like 30. I think Florida State only had 14 points going into the fourth quarter before Clemson beat them, or before they came back and scored. But moving on, after the bye week, Virginia Tech, I have Florida State winning this game. I just think Virginia Tech is down there with Boston College, not in a very good spot. Easy win for Florida State. Then they get Syracuse at home. I think this is a win on the road at Syracuse last year that Florida State beat them 38-3. I see something very similar of that sort. Syracuse just can't compete with Florida State. Then they get Duke at home. I think this is a win. Duke is a very good team who brings back some good pieces, but I don't think they're just there to the point yet, talent-wise, to be able to compete with a team like Florida State. I just don't think Duke has that kind of play in them, to compete. But I do think it could be a little bit of a closer game. It's one that Florida State definitely has to be ready for, but not one of any concern. Then they go on the road to Wake Forest. They lost to these guys last year, but Wake Forest loses the quarterback and a lot of other key pieces. I think Florida State beats them and beats them pretty bad this year. I think Florida State gets their revenge on Wake Forest. Wake Forest just has so much to replace, and Florida State got even better from last year. Then they go on the road to Pitt. This is a win. Pittsburgh, usually you can count on that defense to be something, but even the defense is kind of a bit of a question mark for Pitt this year. They're just not the same team that they've been under Narduzzi in past years, and I think Florida State will have, not have any trouble here with Pitt. Then they get Miami at home, the rivalry game. I think this game is going to be a win. Miami got smoked by Florida State last year, 45-3. I don't think that's going to change. I think Florida State wins by a similar margin, something like that. They put up a ton of points. Miami barely scores. It's going to be another blowout because, Miami is overrated every single year. Then they get the North Alabama Lions. This is a win. No discussion needed in this game at all. Florida State clearly much better. But then they go on the road to Florida for the big rivalry game. I think they get another win. They beat them by 7 last year, 45-38. No Anthony Richardson this year for Florida. A few other pieces still missing and question marks. Florida State is going to absolutely murder Florida this year. So I have them finishing at 10-2. And I have them going to the ACC championship. We'll see who I have them facing Clemson again in the ACC championship. So it's going to be another good year for Florida State. Norvell has them going in the right direction. Florida State fans, be excited. You're back. We'll see how long it lasts. It may, you may be back for good. You got to keep recruiting and get those players in. But hey, for this year, for sure, you're definitely going to be, a top 10, top 12 team. But I appreciate all you guys watching. That wraps up today's video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you guys